Hello everyone, and welcome back to another XP11 video. Today we're going to be having a look at something slightly different today compared to our last video. We were focusing on the flight factor A350, and today we're going to be focusing on something a bit different. It's the Zibo 737, and today we're in the Qantas livery, Victor Hotel X-Ray Zulu Papa. And as you can see, we are in the retro livery, of course, and we are on the ground currently in Broome in the northwestern part of Australia, and today we'll be flying X-Ray Zulu Papa all the way down to Perth so we can show you the new AXONOS Perth scenery that came out just a few days ago. I had the chance to purchase it the other day, and it is a great add-on, in my opinion. I feel for optimization and what you get within the airport itself is pretty well done by AXONOS. And I know that previously they've been doing some projects in the northern parts of Morocco for a few airports there, but mainly now they've focused their intentions elsewhere, and that's where we're going to fly to today. So we are parked on ramp number 2 in Broome, and if you haven't flown the Zibo 737 before, I definitely do recommend you check it out. It's completely free to download, and there's a great forum of support available for any questions that you need or any improvements or suggestions that you have. The developer is very open to improving this aircraft, and normally this aircraft does receive an update every other day, whether it's just a small update fixing a few things from a few bug fixes to the FMC freezing, or to improving some of the exterior modelling and also improving some of the F-mods that come included with this aircraft. We normally jump straight into the cockpit at this point, but we're actually outside on the ground currently, and as you can see we've got the air stairs connected, the ground power is connected, and we're now actually going to go into the aircraft itself. So let's start walking towards the air stairs here, and what we'll do is I'll come up to the first door here. You can see that the stairs have clipped slightly just due to the camera that I'm currently in to do this, but it's the best way for me to show you. As you can see, we're on top here, and the doors are closed currently, and normally some of you may start within the cockpit, but you are actually able to click here on the handle, and the door will actually open up like so. And then it allows you to enter inside, and you'll see immediately that the sound is changed as you enter the cabin because of the F-mod provided, and the actual interior modelling is pretty well done as well, in my opinion, for the cabin that comes with the aircraft, considering this is all completely free, and they all have different textures and variants that are available depending on what airline you're flying. For example, if you'd like to use a Ryanair aircraft, you can imagine all of this will be set up in the Ryanair layout with all Ryanair advertisements and the way how they set it out in their configuration, and that changes for any airline that you wish to use. Today we're in the current default one, as I presume this is just the way it may be on Qantas's 737's interior, but I'm not too sure, but it will do us for today. As you can see, we are inside the aircraft now, looking out into Broome. A very nice day, and the flight deck door is here, currently closed, so we're going to open that. And there's something you may be a bit more familiar with, the 737 cockpit. I truly do love this plane. It is a great add-on. To see where it's come from over the past few years to where it is now, it really is great to fly. We are now in the cockpit, so before we sit down, what we can do is just quickly go ahead and turn the battery on. We're going to turn the emergency exit lights on, and we'll turn the ground power on, and turn the position lights on. And there we go. Okay, so we are first going to line our IRS. Which is all good there. Just confirm Yankee Bravo Romeo Mike is correct. And we're going to take left position on the iris. Yankee Bravo Romeo Mike, and we're flying to Yankee Papa Papa Hotel. We're taking Qantas flight 1073, and we're going to be departing off runway 28 today because the winds are not too bad and they're more in that favour. So, and then after departure we're going to go directly to the Broome VOR. And then we will go on the Q38 airway, and realistically it wants us to go to Daewoo, but we can actually go all the way to Julim because that will be the last waypoint of our flight plan, and that uses the same airway, so it just makes sense to just go direct to Julim, and then we will take the Julim 5 Victor arrival onto runway 21 planned into Perth today. And that is all good, so we can execute that. We can go to our Perth page. Before we set that up, we're just going to go here and go to fuel, weight and balance. We're going to go to payload. Our fuel's already loaded in today, 9009, which is what we need. Actually it's just a little bit under, but it's fine, it will be completely fine. Our payload is 16739. Enter that in as so. We can start the flight leg, which is the passenger system, which obviously gives you a virtual kind of experience, and you can hear the cabin announcements as I was mentioning before, and you'll hear in a second when I start it. It gives a whole experience in the cabin behind you as you're setting up, and it's set up for whichever livery you may be flying, so that's pretty good. So our cost index is 20. Our final reserve is going to be 1.112. Our zero fuel weight is set 59.9. We are going up to flight level 360. The winds are going to be 270 at 50 at cruise. And at flight level 360 we have an ISO deviation of 12 degrees, so that's minus 43. That will give us at cruising altitude, the transition altitude, 10,000 feet. We probably could maybe get away with using, what's the runway length? Let's see, 8,054. It's cutting it close, but I feel like we may be able to get out with takeoff 1D rate, 96.3. That should be enough. Let's have a look, flaps 5, yeah, that'll be more than enough. So our CG is set there, 20.95 with 75. It's 150, so we can set that on the display now. And we'll go up initially to 12,000 feet, that's what I normally like to do. Let's run mine. And then 5.75, so we've got a bit of a high trim today. And 150, that's all good, so lights on, okay. And now what we can do is we can go ahead, turn the fuel pumps on, turn the APU on, turn the seatbelt signs on. We'll set our pressurization to flight level 360.
Captain has turned the fasten seatbelt sign. We do ask that all passengers take your seat at this time and please fasten your
Window
seatbelt.
heat will be turned on, trim there will be turned on, hydraulic pumps are on.
We cannot leave the gate until carrying items are properly put away. All overhead bins are closed and all passengers are seated.
And we are pretty much ready for our departure now. Everything is set up. We have our information in there, and all of our pages have been complete, and everything seems good to go. So what we will do now is we will prepare the aircraft for departure, so we'll see you in a second when we're just ready for pushback.
Alright, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Okay, well the doors aren't actually closed, but I should close them, so put the anti-collision light on, and all doors are now locked and sealed. Turn the APU bleed on in the cabin, but the packs are still off for...
Boarding is now complete. Flight attendants prepare the cabins. Verify arm doors, standby for all call.
There we go. And someone from the cabin should come in a second.
Alright, we've got everyone strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
Thank you. There we go. All good. So we're pretty much ready for our pushback now. Your damper can come on.
Flow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release the parking brake when you're ready.
Okay, well that's all good. So we are ready, so what we'll do is, I know we're glitching in the seat a little bit there, but whatever. Yep, we're all good to go. So what we'll do is we'll start the chrono on that side and release the parking brake.
Alright, starting the pushback, and you may spool them. Clear to start engines.
Okay, well there's not really much space behind us because as you can tell it's pretty narrow here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll start the engines pretty quick. Just as we get a bit further away from the terminal. Got someone there trying to take a photo, look at that. Developers, eh? Right, so we are ready, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start number 2.
In just a moment, we'd like to direct your attention to the video screens located throughout the aircraft for a brief but very important safety message about the safety features, please.
Strapped tight. To open, lift up on the buckle.
We recommend you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times, as turbulence can occur unexpectedly.
And tighten by pulling the straps on either side. Breathe normally. Even though oxygen is flowing, the plastic bag may not inflate. Always.
Okay, so we're pretty much ready to go. I'm just checking that everything is set up the way it needs to be. Flaps are set, ailerons have been checked. And overall the aircraft's looking pretty good for our departure. Still in the seat a little bit, but double check the data is all set, and it is. Taxi light is on, so we can now commence our taxi. Release the parking brake, and off we go. Okay, so we're just about to backtrack runway 28. So it'll be a right turn here to the end. Turn the strobe lights on.
Prepare for takeoff, please.
And the landing lights, make sure the TCAS is on. We'll now taxi to the end, do a turn, and then we'll be fully ready for departure. Okay, so we're just about to make the left turn, and hopefully we should have enough space to do our maneuver. a little bit. There we go. Perfect, right. So we'll set the parking brake for a second. And we're just going to do our quick checks. Make sure everything's good. Which it does seem to be. Just going to quickly set our runway heading. Actually, I'm going to set it to the heading for our waypoint out, just so we know where we're going to turn to after departure. As there is no SID, so it would be straight out and then a left turn. So we can do that. Should be no issues. But yeah, let's now get ready for our departure. Okay, so we're all ready to go. Then we're going to release the parking brake. And we're going to increase thrust to 40%. Set the chrono, stable, and toga. And power set. Airspeed is alive.
$80 knots.
Checked.
V1, rotate.
Rotate.
Positive rate.
Positive line, gear up.
$400.
And we're going to start our left turn.
$1,000.
That speed is dropping a little bit, but as we continue with the turn, when we bring the nose down slightly, that speed's going to come back up. We're going to bring it to 180, full flight level change. We're just going to fly towards the waypoint. I'm not going to worry about the heading marker currently. And bring that heading now to 197. Select Command A. And there we go. Okay, so we're just passing 10,000 feet, so we can set the altimeter to standard, and we'll now bring our cruise up to flight level 360, turn the landing lights off, and we'll turn the seatbelt sign to auto. Everything's pretty much in place now. Now we can enjoy the climb up to cruise, and our journey on our way down to Perth today.
Once again from the flight deck here, we are on our descent. Seatbelt signs going to be back off for our rattle. If you're up and about, please turn your seats, fasten your seatbelts. Still showing well ahead of schedule. Thanks again. Hope you have a nice week. Have you on here very shortly.
So our descent is going as planned. We're still set up for our arrival onto runway 21. So straight in arrival, and then we'll vacate off to the right, and then we'll taxi up to the terminal that Qantas use at Perth. The weather is a little bit windy right now, getting a bit of turbulence in our descent. We had a crosswind initially of about 27 knots, and during flight that went up to about 120, I believe, which was quite significant, slowed us down a great deal. The speed is starting to come off now as we continue our descent through flight level 250. So we're now just approaching flight level 110, and then after that we'll be reducing our speed, as the FMC has decided to now. Getting really close to our arrival, just over 20 nautical miles from the runway. QNH currently at Perth is 1014, ready for when we cross 10,000 feet. Okay, so we've just passed 10,000 feet, so we'll press standard 1014. Landing lights can come on, taxi light will turn on. Fasten seatbelt signs can come on. Now we're about to commit this right turn. Okay, so we're now making our final approach into Perth. We are passing 4,500 feet. We're set on the QNH 1014 hectopascals. And everything has been going pretty smoothly so far. We've got about 18 DME until we approach runway 21. And I can start to see the city loading just in the background there. So hopefully everything should be smooth onwards now until we get on the ground. Okay, so our speed is again dropping to 209 as we continue on the set of waypoints which are bringing us onto the localizer.
2,500.
And that's checked, and we've got our diamond alive now on the glide slope. So now probably would be a good time to start reducing our speed. Put it to 205.
2,500.
If that's speed. Wait for that altitude to get to 2,500. Set up the runway course, which is 196. Now the engines may try and spool up a little bit here, obviously, because we're going to reach cruise, but what I want to do is for localizer, now bring the speed down to 180, and we'll go flaps 5. And we're just about to reach the glide slope, which we just pressed just in time. Bring speed down to 165, we'll go flaps 10. And runway is in sight, we can now arm our speed brakes. And most airlines, the ones that I used to fly, such as Ryanair and stuff, normally have a procedure of gear down and flaps 15 at 4.5 DME. I'm going to presume that maybe Qantas do it a little bit different, so to play it safe, what we'll do is we'll just double check that is confirmed. Our VREF is set at 150, so at 5.5 we can set it down now to 150. We're approaching 5 DME, we'll go flaps 15, engine start switch is continuous, and gear down. Flaps 25 to avoid the stall, and that should allow the nose to push down a bit more gradually. We won't put flaps 30 just yet, it seems to be a bit turbulent from the northwest. Got a bit of a headwind slash crosswind is coming from the left, so we'll put flaps 30 in a moment. Should be enough now, so we'll go flaps 30. We can do our landing checklist, which is engine start switches now continuous, speed brake is armed, the landing gear is down, 3 green, and the flaps is 30, green light, and the landing checklist is complete. Okay, so let's land this bird.
500. 400.
Seems a bit more stable now, the wind. It's getting closer to the ground.
300.
Bit too low.
200.
We'll be alright now.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
And there we go, we are down. Speed brakes up. Reverse. Green. $80 knots.
80 knots.
And that's 40, 35, 30. And that's manual braking. And we stop the clock on 2 hours and 27 minutes. And we're going to taxi all the way down, and we're going to make a left so we can taxi onto the Qantas terminal. For the moment, now that we're off, we're going to turn the engine start switches to auto, the landing lights off, the strobe lights off. We can turn the data, the traffic and the train radar off. We can turn the auto brakes off. Let's prove the auto throttle message. We can turn the TCAS to altitude on. And yes, everything's all good now. So we're going to cross over runway 24, and then we'll taxi all the way up. We'll probably park at one of these gates which are available here. Use a bit of power to get us across the runway. As you can tell, the frame rate here again is very well optimized. I'm having no issues whatsoever. It's a really, really good airport that they've designed, and with the amount of objects placed and certain scenery aspects that they've implemented are really, really good. So that's gate 21 there. And this is for a 737, this is gate 20, so why don't we take this and park here. So we're going to turn around, try and attempt a bit of a better parking than our previous one with the A350. Do need to try and find a fix on that centre of gravity issue that we were experiencing. Parking brake is set, and we're all good. We're gonna stop our chrono on the right hand side, and now we're gonna replay our landing quickly. Okay, so we have made it onto Gate 20 in Perth, and that was not a bad landing again. The weather was quite nice, so that definitely helped on our arrival. I'm going to turn the ground power on, turn the taxi light off, and we're now ready for engine shutdown. So we're going to shut number 1, and we'll shut number 2. Now we can turn the seatbelt signs off, turn the packs to the off position, turn the window heat off. We will turn off the anti-collision light. Engines have depleted. And there we go, now we can just connect our jetway as such. And there we have it. We have arrived in Perth. Again, what a great scenery this airport really is. It is superb. If any of you do fancy checking it out, it is honestly a great product, and I do see myself using this to fly to a few places soon. Obviously there's the very famous long haul that Qantas do to London Heathrow in the 787, which is a huge possibility with the Magnite, so it's something to possibly look into. But again, that's everything that we have for our flight today. I want to thank you again for watching, and do hope that you enjoyed the video. If you do have any suggestions or any places that you may like to see, feel free to message in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to view all of your feedback, and I'd be willing to do some more content that you may enjoy. But for the meantime though, once again, take care, and catch you in the next video.